When I was first experiencing the fatigue and pain that comes with lupus back at the end of 2024 and the start of 2025, I held little hope of being the same runner again. Every online source I looked at promised me nothing but year upon year of suffering and pain, making it seem like even commuting to the shops would be difficult, let alone completing a whole run. And yet, just 18 months on from what was the scariest and most uncertain part of my life, I can look back on what I've achieved with pride, with 2026 bringing the majority of my happiest running memories, far from the suffering and general melancholy my initial internet sources saw in the future for me. Welcome back to my running channel, and today the topic of discussion is very personal to me. When I was first diagnosed with lupus, there was so much negativity about it on the internet, but I wanted to make this video to show that it can get better and to discuss my journey so far to help out other people who might find themselves swamped in negativity and who can find little about how lupus specifically affects running. Before I start the video, I'd just like to say lupus manifests differently in different people, so if what I say doesn't ring true to you, I'm sorry. However, if this account can be helpful for just one of the estimated 50,000 lupus sufferers in the UK, or for any of the 3.4 million to 5 million sufferers globally, I feel it's well worth sharing. In terms of my story, the first time it became apparent something was wrong was in October 2024, where I just experienced a lot of fatigue, something which is rare for me because I'm usually very active. I just didn't feel myself. I was closely monitored and placed on steroids to bring up my platelet count, and despite always being fatigued, I was still able to run pretty well. This was the case until January, and I even took part in a county cross-country race, in which I came 9th. However, after a week in hospital and around 2 weeks off running, despite still being able to run, I came to recognise some of the more serious side effects of my lupus on my athletic performance. For example, I would often fall asleep in the car, even on short journeys, showing my fatigue, and I also started to experience strange pains in my shins and feet that weren't caused by running. I was running, but I wasn't improving at all, and this would be worsened by a blood clot and a diagnosis of antiphospholipid syndrome in March, which would really shake my running world. I'll explain that in an upcoming video. However, I promised you all a positive side to this story, and that's exactly what I shall give you. Despite the fact I realise my lupus is likely to flare up again at some point, since being on mycophenolate mofetil, I have seen constant improvement in my running performance. I am now running 5 times a week, as I want to, and which is incredibly important for my mental state. I have also seen a huge and satisfying increase in my success rates in 2026, becoming a better runner than I was before. In 2024, my 5k PB was 16:51 and my 10k PB was 35:27. I have absolutely annihilated them. I am now glad to report that my 5k PB is 15:49 and my 10k PB is 32:44. I also finished second in the county and 156th in the country in my final ever English schools cross country, which is my crowning achievement in my running career to date. I guess the main message of this video is that wellness is a mindset. Lupus certainly will make you feel ill and powerless at times, but once medicated, which modern scientific progress means most people are lucky enough to be nowadays, there is no reason not to go back to pushing your body and trying to achieve as highly as possible in whatever discipline you're competing at. There's a balance. Ease yourself back into running and take as many rest days as you need. But I quickly started to feel fresh and energetic again, something I didn't think was possible in January after beginning my running again. There are obviously hurdles for runners with lupus, such as putting on sun cream and a sun hat if you're on a medication that requires that, which can often be a bit of a chore. But ultimately, I think that lupus is no match for effective medicine, willpower, and determination. Thanks for watching. I hope anyone affected by the issues raised found it interesting and informative and can approach running with lupus more effectively. I also hope that people without lupus enjoyed the video and perhaps learnt something new. Please consider subscribing to get behind my respective running and journalistic journeys, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
I did it all, I played pretend, I moved the mountains to be